we're going. So we're back again, and we are going to be looking at a game from Grandmaster Glek. And he has a couple of opening variations named after him in chess. Specifically, in the King's Indian Defense, there's a early Knight A6 versus the classical. That's the Glek variation. And we're going to be looking at a side variation within the four knights, which is also named after him. So keep in mind the things that we're focusing on is, and especially in the class, this is reviewing content while looking at some new stuff and then testing our note-taking strategies. So be sure to remember the two sets of three principles: what a good opening is and the advantages in chess. So what a good opening is: maintains the pawn in the middle, develops your knights and bishops effectively, castles your king to keep it safe. Three advantages of chess: time, material, quality. Material, if we got more guys, we're good. Having an extra queen, overkill checkmate, easy to win. Time, moving the same piece over and over, not accomplishing anything. That's why we say don't bring our queen out early, because she has to move over and over to save herself. Waste time. Then last is quality. Pieces that have a lot of options for both attack and defense is a quality piece. Something tells me that those could be test questions. So, going forward, center moves the knight attacking the pawn. He moves the knight defending the pawn. Pretty straightforward so far. And guess why we call this opening the four knights? Pretty logical, right? Now, there's lots of ways to play this. D4 and bishop B5 removes, but specifically, Grandmaster Glek's variation deals with playing G3 here. And in this game from the World Championship Rapid in Dubai, this is a game against Grandmaster Glek, who's playing white, against former FIDE knockout world champion Grandmaster Kazimjanov. Now, Kazimjanov, he's a solid, top 50 in the world player. And this is a huge upset, even though it's blitz, for white to be able to win this game. And I really love the clean nature of the game. So that's why we're going to take a look at Grandmaster Glek's game in order to celebrate not only his opening namesake, but talk a little bit about the man. He's a Russian chess player. He's a big writer and theorist in openings. He's a major contributor to chess opening theory and chess culture with his involvement with the Players Chess Association of Chess Players. I can't remember. It's one of those major organizations that represents chess professionals. And then there's a book series called Secrets of Opening Surprises. He was one of the major authors for that, contributing tremendously to chess theory. So, Kazimjanov, as the higher rated player playing black, plays an aggressive line to get things rolling. White is still developing. White has double pawns, but, it's part of the variation. Sometimes you get to play rook b1 to use that open file. After bishop e7, we both castle. And notice that the guys are following the opening principles that we've discussed. They're pretty universal. When you look at master games, typically at least one of the guys is doing everything we've talked about. They're doing it right, because that's going to lead to an advantage. So rook e1, he's hitting this pawn twice with the knight and the rook. So black's got to do something. Give it away? Nah, he's going to defend it. Bishop f6. And now, rooks are meant to go on open files. You can see how much better white's rooks are compared to black's rooks. That is the difference between an active piece and a passive piece. An active piece is actively attacking targets. A defensive piece is looking at your own stuff. You cannot win in boxing or chess with defense. This is a fact. If you're only defending, you're going to get knocked out or checkmated. Check out chess boxing. It's pretty ridiculous. Like, there's a chess boxing world championship. All right. So rook e8, black's playing solid. He gets his rook on a, better file than what it was on anyway. White plays h3, and I like this move because it says your bishop could have gone there, it could have pinned, maybe it's a bit annoying. Not anymore. So black's waiting around, playing another solid move, getting a luft for his king. Now, after g6 was played, white gets this idea that I'm going to come here and I'm attacking some key squares. So, prophylaxis, a word that we borrowed from dentistry. Now, Nimzovich uses it in my system, where prophylaxis is stopping something bad from happening before it happens. So in this case, white wants to put his knight on g4 to be able to get closer to attack black's king. So what do you think black does to stop it? Any ideas? Okay. Uh-huh.
The bishop to g4.
The bishop would be able to take on g4, but the bishops are better than the knights in this position because it's an open position. So another way, pushing the pawn up says, if you put the knight there, I take you for free. Make sense? So he stopped his idea, prophylaxis. d3, he's looking to get his bishop out to complete development. Black gets tired of waiting around. He plays e4. Now stuff is happening. If white takes this pawn, black can take here, and white's pawn structure will be messed up. Black will have an advantage. So white can't allow that. He plays d4. Queen d5. Black is holding on to this pawn, and at the same time, he's attacking this guy over here. But already, when I looked at this with the engine, which is much stronger than I am, of course, the engine already starts to like white here because white's position is much easier to play than black's. So bishop f4, white is completely developed, and notice how he's also hitting this pawn with his last move. Black takes, but white is not in a hurry to take back. He's got a bad piece, or not necessarily a bad piece, but a piece that isn't very active, and he's going to make that piece great again. Knight f1, knight d2, because the c pawn would be nice. The e pawn is even better, though. We typically want center pawns over the other pawns because they can kick around our pieces. After king g7, you can see all of white's pieces coming alive. Now remember our rules. We're on move 18, and we said develop the knights and bishops effectively. That means either attacking your opponent's pieces or attacking through the center, giving them lots of options. Has black completed development? Has he done that? No. His bishop on c8 still out of the game. White, on the other hand, is ready for the fight because all of his team are playing. So this moment, black takes here to try to mix things up, because if this bishop grabs, it takes the protection off the knight. But for the price of a pawn, we got the bishop pair. Bishop pair in an open position is money. And here's what happens, though. After this long combination, we forgot about that rook on the open file. Our bishops are attacking a lot of weaknesses. Black is in big, big trouble here. Can we see all the targets that white's attacking? It's hard to defend everything. Currently, the knight's hanging. Nothing's defending it. And this pawn is hanging two different ways. So black is going to lose more material here. So he moves the knight because it's more valuable than the pawn. Logical. Pawn falls. So now, the only chance I see that black really has is if this A pawn could somehow magically dream of becoming a lady. But the problem is, this bishop is bothering the rook. Little tickle tickle. So the rook's got to move. And then the most dangerous pawn and the only chance he had is gone. This is not looking fun for black. So after knight d5, remember we said the bishops are really good in the open position, right? So do we want to allow this knight to take our bishop? No. we simply move it. Keep your good pieces on the board, trade off your bad pieces. After rook c8, he's bothering this pawn on c3. Well, he's threatening to take. So I really like his move. I move my rook to pin the knight to the queen. So if the knight moves, I'm going to take you lady. Well, he decides to do it anyway because both ladies are being attacked. Tactics. Yes. So we move our lady. And we have this trade down that takes place. So our rook's being attacked, so we need to save it. And this position is absolutely miserable for black to try to defend. And keep in mind that this was a rapid game, so it's played at a very fast time control. So after rook b3, even the best players in the world can sometimes make horrific and horrendous blunders where they give up material for no reason. Former world champion plays rook a8, and what is the problem with that move? Bishop just grabs him for free. He resigned, and that is the end of the game.
He quit the game.
Yeah.
Kind of salty.
Well, no, I mean, he has no chance of even trying to hold this against a professional player. So it's like it would be poor etiquette to play on. It would be salty to play on. Okay. It's giving respect to your opponent when you resign. It basically says, I know you're going to beat me in this position, and I don't want to waste your time.
This is on my chest.
Oh, no. This game happened at the Rapid World Championship in 2014 in Dubai.
Oh, this was an actual.
Yeah, this was an actual game played in person.
I have to be different.
Yeah. Just because we're recording it on, through a database program doesn't mean that it happened.
Upload it?
Yeah, of course.
Yay.
Yeah, the next steps we're going to talk about is like the uploading process, the editing process. So, knocking out and finishing this video. Thanks for watching.